The demo is good. That is worth saying, because the story people tell about a failed technology project starts with a bad product, and it almost never does. It does the thing. Somebody says that would save us so much time, and they mean it. By the end of the hour, there is consensus, and someone will start the paperwork. 6 months later, the license is still being paid for, and roughly 4 people use it. Nobody kills it, because that would mean owning the decision, and no one owns it. Everything that went wrong in those 6 months was knowable in that first room. Not guessable, knowable. About 10 questions would have predicted it, and not one of them was a question about the software. When a leadership team evaluates technology, almost every question points outward. What does it do? What does it cost? Who else uses it? All reasonable, and all of them questions about the vendor. These projects almost never fail because the vendor lied. They fail because the organization was not in a position to absorb what it bought. The second set of questions points inward. 10 of them, 40 minutes, no cost, and a better predictor than any feature comparison you will ever build. The useful part is not the ones you can answer. It is the ones you cannot. Question 1. Can you name the business problem rather than the technology? We need an AI strategy is not a goal. Cut invoice processing time in half is a goal. One of those can be measured in 90 days. Question 2. Do you know what that problem costs you today? Hours per week, dollars per month, errors per quarter. That number is your business case. Without it, in a year you are arguing about a feeling instead of a measurement. Question 3. Who owns the outcome? Not who is enthusiastic. Who has it in their objectives so that if it goes badly, it is visibly theirs? Question 4. Would your team bet on your data? If people arrive at meetings with 2 versions of the same number, a new tool will not settle that. It industrializes it. The wrong number arrives faster and with better formatting. Question 5. Do you know where your critical data actually lives? Systems, spreadsheets, shared drives, and inboxes. You cannot automate what you cannot locate. Question 6. Is anything sensitive going into public tools? If staff are pasting client details into free chatbots today, you have a governance gap right now. A new platform does not close it. It just adds a second place for the same habit. Question 7. Do your leaders share a working vocabulary? Ask everyone to write down, in one sentence, what they mean by automation, then read them out. The answers are rarely close, and prioritization stalls over a disagreement that was never about priorities. Question 8. Have you set rules for acceptable use? 1 page. What is fine, what needs a second pair of eyes, what never goes into an external tool? A 1-page policy beats an unwritten ban that everybody quietly ignores. Question 9. Who checks the output? Named, a role, a person, a step in the process. The team reviews it is not a review point. Question 10. What is your 90-day step? Not a transformation program. Not a roadmap with 4 work streams. 1 scoped, measurable pilot, with a named owner and a date on which you decide whether it worked. This is what separates the teams who are ready from the teams who are still shopping. A transformation program is comfortable because nobody has to be accountable for it this quarter. 1 pilot with a review date in 90 days is uncomfortable, and that is the point. Because on day 90, somebody has to say yes or no in front of other people. If your team cannot name that step, that is the most useful thing this exercise tells you. So back to that room, the good demo and the nodding. Nothing about that meeting needed to change but one thing. Before the consensus formed, somebody needed to ask, what problem is this solving? What does it cost us today? And who owns it when it gets hard? 3 questions. Maybe 4 minutes. It would have saved the project or saved the budget. So here is what I would sit with. If you ran all 10 at your next leadership meeting, how many could your team answer out loud today without going to look? All 10 are written up as a one-page checklist you can take to that meeting. It is free on the homepage at fanscisolutions.com. If the answers are uncomfortable, that is worth a conversation. Book a free 30-minute discovery. Call with Fansci Solutions at fanscisolutions.com.